As you can see, that fitting pulled right off of there and broke right here, and all that was caused because of that concrete. So this might have been another mistake that I might have made, which I'll caution you guys against right now, was using the PVC or plastic nipple connector here. This time I'm going with brass. It does cost a little bit more, but it's going to be a lot more sturdy in the long run. So right now we're going to get this on, and then we're going to cut the pipe and then put the ball valve in and get everything put back together. What's up, Homestead homies? It's Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. I'm Doug.
I'm Stacy.
And I'm Clyde.
That's Clyde, the calendar guy, the garden planner calendar guy. We're going to tell you guys all about it in this video. And we're sitting around today. He came up to the homestead. He actually lives in our state of Missouri. And we'll actually be seeing him too at the Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival.
I'll be there.
Yep.
You go there every year, don't you?
Every year.
First Sunday and Monday in May.
Yeah. And so if you guys are in the area and if you're going to come and see us, then you could also come and talk to good old boy Clyde. He might even give you some of those harmonica tips.
Our family used to play music at Baker Creek very regularly.
Yeah. How many children do you have?
6.
6. And they have the banjos. You guys do the whole lineup, don't you?
Well, you know, I was going to keep them as pets, but the kids all grew up and we had to stop playing in the band.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, did you guys play banjo? And what instruments did they play, actually?
Banjo, fiddle, mandolin,
Yeah.
a stand-up bass,
Yeah.
and a harmonica.
See, it's all that good old homestead instrument stuff.
Yeah, now good bluegrass music. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in this video, we're going to introduce you guys to Clyde and his calendar. We're going to talk about it a little bit, and we're also going to hear some of his story. This is kind of like a fake field trip Friday because he came to us, but we're going to introduce you to him, and then we're going to hear some of his story about how he ended up making the calendar and what he's doing now with his time. He brought some neat gardening stuff. We're going to talk about some of that stuff. So if you don't have any tea or some hot chocolate, you had some hot chocolate.
That was very good, too.
Yeah, he liked that. So if you don't have any of that stuff, and go grab it real quick, pause the video, come on back, and then we're going to run this whole thing down.
You might learn quite a few nuggets.
Yeah, and his story is a lot like a lot of your stories and like our story. He was working for corporate America, but his passion and something that he did like to do was to garden.
Yes.
And to actually homestead or farm with animals.
Yeah, we have a cattle farm now, and while I was busy gardening trying to feed the kids, it occurred to me that my garden plan could actually be turned into a slide chart that works all over the United States.
Yeah.
So I copyrighted it and published it, and we've been selling them.
So, you know, guys, you probably watched our Lehman's video. Where's it at?
Right there.
We talked about this before. This is another, it's almost goosebumpy, right? So this is another thing that when we and Stace left the city life and we came out here to live this homesteading life, we actually bought a Clyde's calendar, and I have it upstairs, and we use it every year for 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah.
Huh?
Do I get a refund?
I brought you a couple.
Yeah, we need a new one. Yeah.
But I mean, that's how, I'm just saying, guys, go after your passion. So here we are. We got the calendar. We've been referencing it. We've been using it. I met him at the Topeka, Kansas Mother Earth News Fair. And now he's in our living room, and we're talking about his calendar.
Yeah, their booth was right behind ours.
I love it.
Yeah.
That all I'm saying is just follow. You know, when you love something and you do it, you know, you never know where it's going to take you or lead you. Just like with you and your calendars.
Your passion.
We bought it, used it, and now here you are sitting with us hanging out.
That? You can't believe it.
I think it's totally cool. I love
and
that
you're
kind
a
of
Missouri
stuff.
homie.
Yeah.
Yes, a Missouri homie.
So you were an engineer?
I have a business background, but I did industrial engineering for quite a few years, and actually I was studying time phasing.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
And they use that to bring in all the product, like say for John Deere, you got 20,000 components in a harvester, and you can't ship it if the window crank is missing. So they bring them all in on a horizontal calendar, and I was learning about that for manufacturing, and I thought, gee, I'm gonna bring that in and try it for my garden. And I was also planning around a baby birth.
Right.
So I put a line on the calendar for the baby and a line for the frost, and I listed my vegetables. and then I was sitting there looking at it, and I thought, gee, if this was slide, people could use it everywhere.
Perfect, yeah.
So that's how it was born. It was early 1990s.
Right.
We've been selling them now about 19 years.
There you go. So another thing too, that when you guys are doing things around your place, you could actually turn that into a way that you can make money on your homestead.
Mm-hmm.
So with that calendar, you said that works anywhere in North America?
Yes, and it will work even in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
And in China too.
Wow.
And
so basically, all you have to know is your last frost date, and you could use their slide calendar.
well, and the slide chart comes with a listing of the frost dates for the United States and for Canada. So they can just look on the back of the instruction sheet and look up their local city, and it gives it their frost date, or find a city near them.
Right.
You know. So what you do is you slide the red frost line to your local frost date, and then each column is a week, and it gives you the first planting date for each garden vegetable, beginning with the cold crops they plant ahead of the frost, and then ending with the warm things that have to be protected from the danger of frost, like peppers and tomatoes they plant after what they call the frost-free date, and that's incorporated in the chart, and it's usually about 4 weeks after the average. Then the chart also gives you the indoor seeding dates, so that you know when to put your flats out in the house, the expected harvest dates, so you can plan your vacation around your harvest time. Pull it open and it gives you the quantity of seed for a 10-foot row, the planting depth, the distance between rows, the distance between plants, and you plant things a little thicker than you want, and then you thin them out. It also gives the sunlight requirements, so that you can tell what things can stand shade and what items can't. The approximate yield, like in pounds of potatoes per 10-foot row, and the natural companions for companion planting, where the roots nourish one another.
Yes, okay. And I like companion planting. We do a lot of that here.
And this is the spring side. You flip it over, slide it to your fall frost date, which is also on the instructions, and it gives you the last planting week to have a nice fall garden, and all the other information is reordered based on the nature of the fall, the progressive nature of the fall crop. And I have really good fall gardens at my house, and we get a lot of stuff that we eat clear off into the winter. I think we still have some Chinese cabbage that we're eating.
Wow.
Oh no, I know. That fall garden is really, I think, my favorite.
So when you put your information on here as far as like the 10-foot row, did you find that that's kind of a pretty standard length of row most people use?
Well, the reason it's that 10-foot, you can do quick multiples in your head.
Right.
So if you have a 20-foot garden, or if you have a 30-foot garden, it's basically twice or 3 times what's on the slide chart. It's just a quick measurement.
Sure. Yeah. I was just wondering if there was anything that led you to go that way, but yeah.
And if you check my seeding, what you're going to find out that I recommend a higher level of seeding than what is in a lot of the books.
Right.
And that's from my personal experience. I seeded it according to what the book said, and it didn't turn out to be right.
Yeah.
And you're a master gardener now, right?
Yeah, I went through the master gardener program,
and then you were talking about which way you should face your rows when you're planting.
Yes. And I have several. I have a sketch with some gardening ideas on it if you'd like to look at it. But you want to make your rows north to south, because the arc of the sun is a southern arc, and that way you minimize the amount of shading that might happen from your taller plants.
Nugget
alert.
Yeah, north to south. So that's really, really good information.
So you took the Master Gardening class, and you've been gardening now for a while. Your calendar does really well. And what about, we're going to show a picture of this here. We'll talk a little bit about your plant. See if you guys can see that. It's some type of pepper plant, huh?
Yeah, it's a kind of a tree, and I think it's from the Panama area, and it's called the Chile Diarbo. And I bought it at Baker Creek Seed Company.
Just thinking you're going to get a pepper plant, right?
Yeah, and here the thing grew up, and kept it in the house. Had it for 3 years, and it...
well, it has bark on the bottom of it.
Yes, and in this year, it had 200 peppers on it. I picked them off, and it bloomed again, and I picked 200 more peppers both in the same summer.
And then you just bring it in the winter months.
In the winter time, and my wife uses them for our salsa and for chilies and stuff like. And it's nice medium heat. It's not too hot, you know, like the Scorpion or the Carolina Reaper. This one's one that regular people can
That
eat.
you can do it right and not let your head blow off.
And then real quick, just to kind of get away from the gardening thing, you know, we all talk a lot to you guys about aging in place. And he's been on his farm / homestead for a while now, and he's had cattle, right?
Yeah.
And earlier we were talking, before we started the camera thing, about how you actually switched cattle because the ones you have now have a better temperament and they're easier to handle for you.
Yeah, I had cows that were rushing me when I would give them grain.
Yeah.
And I was worried about getting hurt.
Yeah.
And I read about that the polled Hereford breed is much milder and more shy, more manageable. So I sold the cows I had and bought from a friend some seed cows. And I've grown my herd now to about 30-some cows, and they're polled Herefords, and they really, truly are way more manageable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they are gentle.
It's beef cows.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to throw that nugget in there for you guys because we talk about that a lot here, and I thought that information would be valuable for you guys because we don't have cows, and that's one of the reasons why is because cows can be, you know, hard on you. So we don't want to milk every day, but it's also the girth of the animal. It's a big animal, and if it really gets going on you, it can
especially
really
when they're
mess you up.
young and they come running at you.
Yeah.
I know.
I sold some yesterday, and they were 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
The cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so
that's
even
a big animal.
Even milking, like I know stories and I've seen it where they'll just whip that leg up and it can really mess you up. So I'm not scaring you guys away from it, but just make sure that you're thinking about that kind of stuff, especially, you know, as all of us are all getting older. So what's the plans with the garden calendar? So you ship those all over the place?
Yeah, I get orders from all over the United States and Canada.
Yeah.
And they're $5 a piece.
Yeah.
And that includes the shipping cost. We don't charge for the shipping. And we even get some orders from Australia and from Europe.
Right.
Well, you know what? It is really neat. I mean, you can just see all of your years. I mean, you really organize everything because you're a total planner. I mean, you know, just and I look at it and everything. I mean, this has just got everything on here. I mean, just in this, and it's so easy to work.
What you can do is you slide it to your local frost date, and then stick a pin in it and stick it on the wall.
Right.
And then you just do progressively what it says to do.
Right.
For whatever you're going to grow that year.
Just really makes it easy for you guys. If you're new to gardening, or even if you're experienced at gardening, this could actually help keep you on track. So
and keep you organized, because I think that's the thing for all of us. It's like you get excited, you want to do this, you want to do that, and then you have all these things you want to do, and I want to put this here and there, and this kind of it helps you to be organized. Because that's a problem I have a lot. Because I'm just like, ooh.
Well, you can have a problem where you've made your starts too early.
Yeah.
And they get so spindly.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can have the alternate problem where you're starting it too late, and cold crops can't grow in the summertime.
Right.
The early kinds of crops, or you say you want to put out your tomatoes too early. This will warn you so that you don't do that. Or your peppers, because they're very tender.
Now, on the reverse, it could also be used as kind of a gauge. So, like later on, after everything's kind of growing, you could actually reference that to see when you actually put them in, roughly, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that would be good information to know as well. A lot of times we put things in, and it's like, well, when did we actually plant that, right?
Although it's a good idea to have a journal.
Yeah, definitely, guys, have a garden journal. But I was just trying to think of another way that you could use that in this application of your garden planner. We really enjoy it. We've had it for years. We use it all the time, and it's, you know, it is a garden planner. It has worked well for us.
You know, I brought a couple other items to get everybody thinking about the springtime.
Because I know you guys are
right
getting
around
spring
the corner.
fever.
Could I show them?
Sure.
My wife went to Dollar General.
Here's another nugget.
And she bought for half price this last fall these really nice starter kits for your seedlings for inside. And what you do is you put the plastic cover over the top, and it creates just the right atmosphere on the inside so that the plants will germinate.
Like a mini greenhouse.
Right, exactly, in your house.
Yeah.
You put it by the window, you know. Then you take it off, and once the plants are germinated, because you don't want to leave it on, and then you put like a fan nearby so that you have to keep your plants watered, but they can get too wet and they can get a sickness if they have too much water on them.
Right.
And also brought some seeds from Baker Creek Seed Company. I use a lot of Baker Creek seeds. And
so do we. We love them.
And I'll tell you about this one in particular. It's called a Hilton Cabbage, Chinese cabbage. This stuff grows like weeds, and it's very tasty and mild and makes good lettuce for salads. And you can stir fry it also, and I like it with peanut butter on it.
Wow.
Like
because you're gonna get
celery, you know.
It'll be very thick. Yeah, on the bottom. And then you were saying how it was very cold tolerant for you, and it was lasting a long time. Because I like that. You know, I like to get my certain things like your kales and some of these frost hardy things and plants. I had some arugula that lasted a long time in our cold snaps we were having. But I'm going to definitely try some of that. The Hilton Chinese cabbage.
Well, I think, you know, you've been setting up your greenhouse. Yeah. You don't have to have your greenhouse very warm to grow
that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
This is perfect for that. That's what I'm going to do at home too. And in our greenhouse, I'm working on one right now.
And you actually brought a tool too. What tool is that?
This is for working the seeds. It's called a dibble.
And how many people know how to dibble?
There's a lot of different forms.
No, or the dab.
Let me hold it up real close for everybody to look at. Here. Yeah. There you go. And it's for kind of digging in the garden there and putting your seeds in where you won't disrupt the soil too much. It makes a little hole. It's triangular in the shape.
So you don't feed the seeds in there, it's just to make the hole.
Right.
It's just to make the hole, then you drop the seeds down in based on what kind of seeds you're planting.
Yeah.
Some things almost go right on the surface. Yeah.
So also what we were talking about earlier is for gardeners that might be new, you know, they're thinking about homesteading, they're coming in, they want to start growing their own food. You said one of the first things that people should do probably is to have their soil tested.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a master gardener, what tests do you suggest?
Okay, the state has a really nice, of course this is Missouri, but almost every state has good extension program where they will test your soil for you. And when you get the soil test, if you're not sure about how to read it, let me just tell you some things that you should look for. You want to find out what the acidity level of the soil is. And if it's too acid, then you need to kind of like amend the soil to get it closer to about number 7, 6.5 to 7. And you'll also look for the nitrogen, the potassium, and the phosphorus level in the soil. And you'll add either some fertilizer or some biological materials to bring those things up to where they should be.
Yeah, your worm castings, your manures.
Whatever, yes.
Right.
If
rock dust.
You know, you have sheep. They say that sheep and goat poop is
very well. Yeah.
And then the other thing and I was surprised to learn this in the Master Gardener program, you want to look on your soil test for the cation exchange rate. And what that is it's a measurement of the electrical charge of your soil. And if you have the right charge, then it holds your fertilizer better. So you want to find out if the cation exchange rate is between 10 and 18, which that's the ideal range.
So if you don't have that good exchange rate, then when you get the water comes to it, it's just going to kind of go away, right?
Like all your amendments.
Say you have sandy soil, okay? Well, anything that you put in the soil is going to be washed right away because it doesn't capture it.
Sure.
Okay? So what you want to do is add biological material to that sandy soil to bring it up so that the cation exchange rate is such that it will hold the fertilizers that you put in.
Right.
Yeah. And I would call that a nugget.
That's a nugget.
Yay,
Hashtag nugget. Yeah. So these are just some of the tips for you guys. Clyde came up, and we're also going to offer the website down below, and then there's going to be a coupon code off-grid when you go to the website. Like he said, the charts are $5, and it's going to totally probably help you get your garden organized and your planting schedules down. It's really a good reference tool. And then when you use the coupon code off-grid, he's actually going to email you his layout. It's a diagram of his garden area.
If you order a chart and you put in the off-grid code. What's the secret code?
Off-grid.
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 It's one of those well-known secrets.
Yeah.
And then I will email you a diagram with all these gardening helps on it, and also some bullet items, some just really quick reads of thoughts that you should consider for your garden.
And it's just from over your years of knowing what works and what doesn't work, and it's a nice little layout of his garden.
Yeah. Basically, it's things that worked for me.
Right.
You should consider them.
Yeah. And it also will talk about the different tests. That's all on this sheet here. And again, he'll free of charge that to you when you put in the coupon code off-grid. So also in this video, we're going to give away 3 garden planners for the comments in the comments section down below. So we're going to randomly select those comments, but what we want you to do is leave a comment down below and say, I love growing food for my health. And when you say that, we're going to leave this open today, Sunday. So by maybe like Tuesday night, I will actually go through the comments and we'll pick some winners. I'll get a hold of you guys, and then we'll get those calendars shipped out to you, and that'll be pretty cool. So 3 of them, if you leave that comment down below in the comment section. I love growing
food for my health.
Love growing food for my health.
Yeah.
And also, you better hit that thumbs up on your way out. Any other thing you want to add before we get out of here? He's a man of many words.
Maybe you should play us another song. You want to play us another song?
I guess I could do
We'll close in song. So don't forget, check us out on
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And also, we had a live show that we did last Sunday that disappeared off of YouTube for some reason, but that is back on now. So all you have to do is go back and you can see it, and then you can watch it if you missed it. And also, don't forget about our t-shirts, Get Closer to Your Food. That link will also be down there below next to his website.
And get prepared for spring planting.
It's going to be here before you guys know it.
Planner.
Yeah, it's going to be here before you know it. It's like 6 degrees outside now. I got the water fixed just in time. But
this is the time to plan.
Yeah.
To make your plan.
This is it.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. It's a very strategic move.
Wait, plan your work.
And work your plan. That's right. People don't plan to fail. They fail to plan.
Good job. All right. Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. You might want to check out these videos.
And if you want to become a Homestead homie, click the picture of us below.
We will see you tomorrow.